Oh, daddy. Oh, daddy.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, shit, buddy. The path of life's not so easy to course, buddy. Here we are. We're back. Very A podcast. Just Sean and Cass today. You know, we're in the deep muck. We're in the confusion fog of all confusion fogs.
And some might call this a quarantine.
Yeah, some might say what we're doing is a quarantine. Yeah, for sure. We have fucking COVID.
Yeah, finally got us.
Fucking Jesus Christ, man. Almost 2 years of sitting in this apartment, not getting it, doing our broadcast, talking shit. And here we are. We got it finally.
We're not the only ones. A lot of people seem to have it around right now, too. It's like...
Not only are we not the only ones, fucking, who doesn't have this right now? Who hasn't come in contact with this?
And I was like, I'll be honest, I was feeling a little cocky recently, about having not gotten it yet.
Yeah.
They have those memes that have been going out, like, with the Matrix, and it's like people who still haven't gotten COVID in December 2021. It's like...
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's me, and then, yeah, we got it. But the timing is kind of cosmic in that, like, we talked on the last podcast about how we did the shoot and we tested 70 people, and that seemed to have gone great. Like, we didn't get it at the shoot. We got it, like, the day after the shoot, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like, we do this big thing and then,
Well, we named that podcast Thread the Needle, and Jesus Christ, did we thread that? We didn't even know. We didn't even know how much we were threading the needle.
Right. So...
Because we tested all those people, and, like, I was nervous. Like, Drew, our cinematographer, is like, I cannot get this. And I was like, yeah, I mean, nobody can. We don't want... And then I was like, yeah, he has a newborn, and, like, I don't want his wife to bust his balls and shit. Like, this is just a gig. Like, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is a dangerous fucking thing that there are, like, serious consequences of. It's not, like, a joke, so...
No.
And I didn't want that weight on me at all, like anyone. So it kind of felt like... Then we, like, it got exposed the following day, which is, like, kind of cosmic, and kind of hilarious. And I think the most hilarious thing is that we tested positive on our
portal day.
Our portal day.
1/11. Even though this day, we're this year we're moving portal day to Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, because it's too good. 2/2/2/2/2. That's gonna be our big portal day, which is the Church of Chill holiday of writing and burning your fears and taking a bunch of acid with your friends.
Well, I still wrote my fears on 1/11. I kind of think of 1/11 as the fear day. I think 2/2/2 has a whole different connotation. Right. I don't even think it's necessarily fears. And after what's going down energetically with me on 1/11, I'm not sure if I want more fear holidays.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy the past couple of years that we've opened that portal on 1/11, right?
Yeah. But it was good because I still did the ritual of burning my fears this year, and it was what an appropriate time to have get the positive test result of the thing that I've been, like, most fearful of for the last 2 years. And it was kind of like brought over a wave of just acceptance. And I'll be honest, I've been so much more scared of this virus until I got it. Like, it's so funny, like, waking up mornings thinking you have it is scarier than when you, like, know you have it and you're like, all right, I just got to stay calm and survive this thing.
Yeah, thinking you have it is worse than knowing you have it.
Yeah, there's, like, this unknown or something.
Well, once I've accepted that I have it, it's like, then I'm focused on, like, well, every breath is me healing. Every moment of every day is a step further towards my body being healed.
Yeah.
I don't handle this shit well.
What do you mean?
I don't handle being sick well. It doesn't happen to me that often. I think we take really good care of ourselves. Like, I go running every day. I've eaten a vegan diet for fucking 9 years. Like, we meditate twice a day. We keep low stress environment. We don't have kids. We don't have jobs. Like, we do what we can to try to keep our bodies at tempo.
Be our own healthcare system.
There is no healthcare system. There is no one you can turn to. So you have to, unfortunately, spend the extra money to live a healthy lifestyle, and that's what we do. So, I get righteous about that. Like, I take care of myself and I don't get sick. And I took care of myself and I did get sick. And it's just like, I think along with feeling like shit and feeling like some alien fucking virus has infected me, because it does not feel, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like when you smoke DMT, you're like, whoa, I'm in another fucking dimension, right? That's how this virus feels to me. It just feels like an invasive species,
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Do not recommend it. I think some people are at this place where they're like, oh, let me just go get this already. And I
Yeah.
don't recommend that at all.
I saw our friend tweeting out the other day. She's like, I'm going out tonight to try to get
Omicron or whatever.
Omicron. I'm like, are you fucking insane? What kind of times are we living that people would want to get sick?
Especially since it seems like a virus you can get again. Like maybe you'll have some natural immunity, but I don't know if I have friends who have gotten it like 4 times at this point.
I just don't like being sick. I don't know why anybody would invite that into their world, and I don't get that way of thinking. There's so many ways of thinking around this that I just fucking really don't understand and can't relate with at all.
I felt so bad for you. You had, I feel like 4 days of like the worst headaches.
They're still happening.
Yeah.
I had it last night. Yesterday was finally the day. Like, what was 1/11 on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
This is like we both woke up. We're like, something's off. We both took the at-home test positive, and I'm like, all right. And then just a terrible fucking headache, like terrible. And I would use Advil, and it would kind of go away. And when the Advil would wear off, and this happened 3 days in a row at night, like at 7 o'clock at night, the Advil for the day wears off, and it's like a light switch goes on, and that light switch is the worst migraine headache you can imagine. Like, I'm like, I'd rather blow my head off than sit through this for one more second. Like, you can't move your eyes, you can't blink, you can't think, you can't talk, you can't do anything. It's like, for me, it's like there's like a pressure valve on the back, on the bottom, like where my neck meets my skull. And it feels like too much something is trying to pour into my head, and it's like, whoop, 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 and like insane, and nothing relieves it. So I had that like 3 days in a row, and then yesterday I was kind of like, oh, I'm not taking Advil today. I think I'm okay. And we had Mare come over and everything, and we're rolling around with Mare.
Yeah, she's in this with us.
Yeah, Mare's in this with us, by the way. I don't know if she wants us divulging that, but we're already into this. So, finally, we're like, let's hang out with our girlfriend. Like, let's have fun. Like, let's do something. Whatever. We all have this thing, and we're like rolling around in bed together, and like just the headache just is like, just comes creeping back. Like, I'm scared. You know what I mean? It scares me a little bit. It makes me scared to like go towards sexuality. It makes me scared to exercise. You know, like I'm like that worst headache of my life is like creeping. It's like right behind the veil
You
at all
release
time.
one demon and the other demon pops right up.
oh my God. Yeah. Fucking Jesus Christ. So just for me mainly hot flashes. I'm experiencing them right now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, just like you just fucking hot flashes where it just feels like you spike a fever out of nowhere, but then you're cold, and the worst headache ever. That's been basically my symptoms. Thank fucking God it hasn't seemed like it's really like hijacked my breathing.
Yeah, I'm
so
congested.
I've been able to still do fucking
but it's
bong hits.
mainly up here, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the other side of something. Like I'm now like when this first started, I was having like a dry, unproductive, like there was nothing to blow out or cough up, and now there is. So as gross as that sounds.
No, it is funny that you like liken it to being like some sort of alien thing, because it's so funny. They tried to pull the wool over our eyes. By they, I mean like the NIH and the government and stuff like that, by saying like, don't even look or think about the possibility that this was a lab leak.
Don't even think about what this could be to begin with. Don't question where this came from. You know?
And if you do, you're racist, which is funny.
Yeah.
That's like one of the strongest tactics. It's a very effective tactic because no one wants to be racist. So
yeah, it's an effective tactic to control fucking shitlibs. Like, you accuse them of being racist, and they'll change their mind about whatever. You know.
Yeah, but it's
like the most obvious narrative about where this came from. We were told was a racist thing to think. Like, what? Why? How is it racist? The United States obviously funded research in Wuhan, China, that leaked out of the lab. Like, what's insane about that? To me, this theory that a bat at a wet market caused this, like, are you fucking kidding me? All the scientists have looked into it and been like, the chances of that being true are slim and none.
Yeah, so there's something about
Lab leaks happen all the time.
yeah, so that's why it feels crazy that we're even researching how do we make the most worst virus.
Yeah.
I have some questions there.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, and you know what the crazy thing on top of it all, how this applies to us the most? Us talking about this right now will probably get our YouTube channel thrown off. They're banning YouTube channels that even talk about this.
Should we not talk about it?
I mean, I don't even know what it is you could say that could, you know what I mean? Like, they say everything's misinformation. You know,
Yeah.
everything except what fucking Dr. Fauci says. God himself, Dr. Fauci, you know, the infallible human being, beyond reproach. The only thing that's true in this world anymore is what he says. Meanwhile, he contradicts himself fucking 10 times a day.
I predict a fall from grace that makes Cuomo's fall from grace look pretty tame.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, if there hasn't been one person like put in this on a pedestal of like being a hero, it's him, you know?
Yeah.
And given how complicated this thing is and that life isn't so simple and heroes aren't so black and white most of the time,
There are no heroes. Like, that's the whole thing we got to get off it. Like, it's just such a thing that's used to manipulate us. Like, here's the narrative. It's black and white. It's left and right. And here's your heroes and here's your villains. Like, it doesn't add up to me, you know? And I think it has a lot to do with the amount of psychedelics we've taken and just kind of not it being a thought form, living it and experiencing like, oh, I am everything. We're in a fucking house of mirrors down here. I am everything. So, you know, I would never worship somebody as a hero because I couldn't worship myself as a hero. You know, I would never put somebody categorically in the class of villain because I wouldn't want to do that to myself. We contain all those things, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely heroic acts and people
For
who
sure.
are more prone to doing more heroic acts and
Yeah,
they should be
absolutely.
celebrated and respected for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it becomes tricky territory. It's like the whole guru thing. It's like as soon as it's because it's a handing over your power. It's saying you're better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And then therefore I will worship you rather than like you have something in your side yourself that I want to strive for.
Yeah, or learn from.
But
And that doesn't matter if you know, if you're a good person or a bad person. I want to learn from everyone. We got a lot more to learn from the bad, quote unquote, bad people. You know.
yeah, because it seems to be a tool of separation of like, oh, there's someone that I need to like look up to it and admire, and then you just put someone in a position of then disappointing you if you just say like you are going to be this shining light in my life, this shining star, north star of a guidepost, and I think you can use people like that. But
Oh, I've been that dude for people. So like I've lived this firsthand. I've seen people put me on some sort of pedestal, like I'm some sort of gift to fucking whatever, art, filmmaking, podcasting, sex, whatever. You know, I've been put on those pedestals, and then inevitably when the luster wears off, like that person fucking hates you. They resent you. You
yeah,
know, because they held you in such a high place, and I'm like, I don't even hold myself in that high of a place. Like, don't put me on that fucking pedestal. I'm some dude here trying to fucking figure it out and make it look cool. I don't know.
you do make it look pretty cool.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of our culture. We're in a culture of separation. We're in a culture of otherization and individualization, and finding the differences and finding the contrasts, and not even looking for the things that we all have in common. Not even overlooking those things every time.
Yeah, it's making this time so tricky to navigate because it feels like we're so in this place of like pointing fingers and like you got the vaccine, you didn't, blah, 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 like it's become this thing. But then and then it also like because it becomes so personal, it feels like we can't explore like what actually is probably best for what's going on in our healthcare system. What is like a good way to move forward? It feels.
Well,
like
you see the system we're stuck in, and you know this is what should be waking people up more than anything. It's like Okay, where does all the finger pointing get us? Nowhere. It hasn't solved anything. I don't know. I think that there's part of the media that just wants to blame the unvaccinated for all of our issues, and it's like, when did they become the enemy? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when did they become the enemy? And this thing that I see people that think they're good people do. Like, literally, I saw two different people tweet like this the other day, basically saying, um, "Oh, so and so who is unvaccinated is on death's door. I don't know how I should feel about it." What? Well, a fellow human being is struggling and suffering. Why don't you feel compassion for them? No,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Were they vaccinated? I want to temper my compassion, based on some political ideology that's been thrust on me by the fucking media. And the reason those ideologies are thrust on us by the media is to keep us from finding the solution. Because you're absolutely right. If we could see beyond that, we could start to find the solutions. But since we can't see beyond it, we stay stuck in this extremely profitable merry-go-round of confusion and nonsense. You know?
Yeah. It is confusing for me because even like without judgment, I do want to I want to share like I have friends I have a friend who does physical therapy with people who like um their brain gets all fucked up from having to be go under extreme care and life-saving measures because of COVID,
Hmm.
and then they get vaccinated. And this is something that she's seen a lot of because she's on the front lines of like helping people recover from COVID,
Hmm.
and the people who are having the hardest time, like I feel like it's become bad to even just say that that's something that's happening because it means
It,
that
it it is happening, and I think it should, if anything, be a clue as to how much faith we've lost in our institutions.
yeah.
And I think before continuing fighting the rich man's war and pointing out amongst us who did wrong and who this, I think we start to say, why have we lost faith in all of our institutions? Because they're not serving us, you know? Like, what is a government supposed to do? We pay them taxes. What do we get for them? Nothing, as far as I'm concerned. We get a fucking crazy ass military that's out of control and whose spending goes up every year. But we don't get anything. Everything that the government buys, you bought for them. And everything that they don't give you, you fucking still gave them the money. I don't know why this doesn't upset more people. I don't know why this doesn't upset more people that we've just gone through a 2-year pandemic and we don't have health insurance. What can people begin to do about their health if they can't go to the doctor? We don't go to the doctor. It's been completely weaponized, right?
Well, you don't know what kind of bill you're going to get, and that's the scariest
We can't
thing.
do it.
Is even if you do get COVID, like you don't know the bill that they're going to slap you with
Yeah.
if you go to get the treatment that you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And the treatments are false scarcity. There's plenty of fucking monoclonal antibodies to go around. There's plenty to go around. There's enough for the world, and right now we're in a false scarcity about them because there's a lot of money to be made. False scarcity over masks, over ventilators, over access to hospitals. All this stuff is extremely profitable, and when you realize that that's the name of the game, and that no good disaster will go unused,
that's that's a truth.
you know what I'm saying? Then you can start to take care of yourself. But you have to understand what the circumstance is. You have to understand how many guns are actually being held to your head. Because it's really easy to fucking just live in fantasy world and pretend, oh, America, the land of the free. No, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. You're being filtered into a very narrow way of thinking and a very narrow way of living. And I don't know how this virus hasn't really begun to wake everyone up in mass. Maybe we're seeing that. Maybe we're seeing like the wispy beginnings of it. But the class war is being fought on us harder than ever. This is what it is. It's being fought. We are losing.
Hmm.
We're going to lose a million Americans to a preventable virus.
Hmm.
Look up how many people fucking died in other countries last year. Countries that have their shit together, that have a plan. Look how
Mm-hmm.
many people died in those countries. Nothing. We're expected to sacrifice ourselves for this economy. And we gladly do it because we hero worship people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. We put those people on a pedestal. We put the politicians that do their bidding on a pedestal. How can we begin to deal with these people? How can we begin to hold them accountable? if all we just want to celebrate their celebrity. It's sick. It's fucked up. So you got to start thinking for yourself a little bit. Start seeing things for what they are. And once you see things for what they are, like I said, I feel like that's when you can begin to figure out how to survive and take care of yourself in this crazy ass fucking jungle, you know? Because a lot's coming at us. A lot of predators, you know? So it's tough for us. We fucking went out of business during this. Like, we are now working for other companies. We used to be the company that the Kurt Viles would come to. Now we are working for an in-between company because our company went out of business because we needed work. It was time for us to work again when all this happened. 2 years goes by, no work's happening. And the people that survive are the people that were already big and already big enough to not fail. And now we have to work for those people as opposed to work for ourselves. And I'm giving this example of us so people can start to see how the system works and what the system wants. It wants us desperate. It doesn't want us having our own business. It wants us working for one of the 4 big conglomerates in media. You know what I'm saying? There was no plan to bail out artists. There's no plan to help people like us out who were making a modest but good living, doing the right thing, being honest, employing many people over the years. Where was the support? Where's the safety net? There is none because they don't want us thriving in the way we did to begin with.
Well, that's the real kicker, because it is those with the most money that have the biggest safety nets too, you know?
Absolutely. They're not going to fail. What could happen to them?
Too big to fail, yeah.
What could happen to them? And they have the lawmakers in their back pocket just in case, you know? When we went through the financial crisis of 2008, who got bailed out? The predatory mortgage companies got bailed out. The people didn't, that were losing their homes.
Yeah.
The people didn't. The people lost their homes.
It's so backwards.
Well, I mean, it's backwards, but this is all to say, like, this is a system that is fucking functioning perfectly.
Yeah.
And I hear too many people say, like, oh, well, the system is failing us. And it is failing us, but it's functioning perfectly. This is exactly how this system was meant to function. In extremes. It pushes people en masse into extreme poverty, and it takes a very select few and pushes it into extreme wealth, the likes of which this world's never seen. And that's what this system will continue to do. It'll make winners and losers, very fewer and far between winners.
Yeah, capitalism has allowed us to have these, like, be modern day serfs and modern day kings, but we're not, like, that revolutionary spirit isn't really about it. Like, we kind of are now, we're at this phase, it feels like, of, like, worshiping the king and wanting to be the king's jesters and stuff like that. But and there's a point where you get sick of the king and you're like, wait, why are we giving all our money to the king? Why are we working for this king? Fuck this king.
Exactly. Just take the small example of us. We've paid a lot of money in taxes. A lot. An embarrassing amount for what we get for it, which is nothing. Nothing. We get nothing for our taxes. What do we get?
I mean, I like to think that the roads and schools and stuff like that
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have what we know is true, that there's huge areas in the military spending budget that just goes towards producing, I don't know, fighter jets that just sit on tarmacs and just
It's not that innocuous. They don't just sit on tarmacs. They sit on tarmacs in Hawaii and permanently destroy their drinking water. I mean, that's what's going on now. That's what the U.S. Navy is doing in Hawaii right now. I'm not even going to go off on a tangent of this, but look into it because it's true. The U.S. military is the biggest polluter on Earth by far. Like, nobody compares to what the U.S. military and its 900 bases that we know of spread throughout the Earth do to this planet. Nothing compares. And there's no accountability, and there never will be, because they're the top cops of this planet. It's fucked up. It could change, you know. And it sucks because it's like, you know, it's like we're kind of coming out of this sickness, and it feels like, you know, we're coming out a little bit of the struggle that we were having with, like, work and stuff. Like, now, like, things are picking up slowly but surely, and we're kind of coming out of this sickness. And then we get a note on our front door that says we have to be out of here in 90 days. After 10 years of living in this apartment, paying exorbitant rents. Exorbitant rents.
Yeah.
If for a neighborhood that was not the price that they said that this place was. We just, fuck it, whatever, we did our thing. Pandemic hit. We ran out of money. We started paying less rent. They acted like they were going to forgive it. They didn't forgive it, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. So
we're on that 90-day countdown. But we're going to try everything to maybe...
I can't imagine a bigger fucking slap in the face out of nowhere on top of everything else we have going on, you know? It's like, God damn, we're literally like sitting in the rubble of the devastation of our life. Like finding bricks, maybe we could put this here and start to begin to make a little bit. And then someone just comes by and just... It's just like, okay... Oh.
Well, I keep having this vision of us being like in a new living situation and being like, oh my God, like this is amazing.
What were we doing in the city all that time?
Yeah, just like, oh wow, like we needed something. We were gonna spend the next 40 years of our life in that 1-bedroom apartment if someone didn't kick us out.
Yeah.
And totally. Look at us now thriving with all this space or whatever it is. However we are able to maybe somehow still upgrade is my theory, is that we're going to be able to somehow still upgrade even if there's a in-between period as we get back on our feet.
Yeah, it's okay. It's always been, look, and so far in my adult life, it's always been an upgrade. You know, all the apartments I've had, each one I've upgraded a little bit, you know. I had a roommate at first, and it was a small place, but it was nice. And then I upgraded, and I had a wife, and it was a little bigger place. And it was okay. It was a railroad place. And then I upgraded. I got divorced and got this fucking spot. And the hottest fucking girl. And we've been having a great time here for 10 years. We had the most incredible life of our lives in this place. And I guess we're moving on. I haven't even wrapped my head around it. I can't even begin to. It's like, it's very upsetting, but I don't want to cling. You know, it's showing where I have all those tendencies.
Oh yeah, the attachments, your self-worth tied to where you're living, and
yeah, and I know better. But it just feels like everything at once. Like my health isn't good. You know, work is barely happening right now. Just in general, it's not like our fault. It's just like in general, jobs are getting canceled. Things are hard to get going. Budgets aren't what they used to be. Like our health is shitty. The work is shitty. And now we're getting kicked out of our fucking place. And it just feels like a tightening. That said, I feel like we could flip the script. And it can feel like almost a loosening. Like we're taking off an ill-fitting shoe by getting this apartment out of our life.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for this place, but there's been many a times that I feel like it's really done a number on mental health, just like the close proximity. We've had to be on top of each other, and there is another situation that's probably better for us, but it's so funny because I think the big astrological note that Mare has shared with us of this year of 2023 is like higher highs, lower lows. And it's so funny because it has been the highest high. Like that music video we did last week went amazing and just felt incredible. And
every cell in my body was just buzzing with like excitement and confidence, and I'm like, man, I'm at the peak of my powers right now. This feels incredible.
And then on the other side, we get COVID and an eviction notice.
Yeah.
And rock on, baby. But I've
keep on rocking the free world.
But I felt, I think my biggest fear has always been like with this impending. We've known this is coming in some capacity, of course. You know, they're not going to just like let us stay here forever.
Yeah.
With it not being in the best financial position, and I feel like some grace has come over both of us, because my biggest fear about this circumstance is the amount of stress and strain it would put on our relationship, and that it would be like a pointing of fingers, or that the fear would be so consuming that we would just have to like be picking each other up and like being like when you're in a relationship or you like lose someone to the fear narrative, and you just like you're like, where are you? I can't I can't relate to you because you're so scared. And I think that's been one of my biggest fears, that we would like lose each other into the fear. And I'm not saying
It
that
might
we're
happen, but I think based on our initial reaction, this happened like 24 hours ago. I don't think we're going there. I think it's like, okay, cool,
yeah,
cool. All right, we'll figure this out. Let's upgrade.
totally.
Let's upgrade. Maybe this is the stage in our life where we step into like, yo, this church is a real thing. It's important to people. Let's make it. Let's have a place that people could come visit. Let's have a destination. Let's have an art mecca that people fucking rally around for years to come.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of ideas and a lot of things to be excited about and navigating how to get there. But I think, yeah, the initial reaction, I just want to like have a moment of gratitude for like the grace I feel like we're starting to display in the face of like some
Yeah.
tumultuation. And I think that that's kind of like what your mom has always said about confusion is like when you're confused, you allow grace to enter
Hmm.
because you don't know what's going on, but you really just have control over how you're going to be.
And
And you don't necessarily have the privilege to be a brat about anything because life is demanding a lot more of you than to judge your circumstances.
well, it's where faith comes in, and it's where some angel work can come in. Because you're absolutely right, and my mom's right. You don't know, and that's why it feels confusing. But if you point your faith towards the angels, they got a bird's eye view on this whole thing.
Yeah.
Looking into the future ain't no thing for them. It's like us looking at each other, you know. And they know that they got you, and they got you cradled like a sweet little baby, and that good things are happening, or at the very least, the lessons you need are coming. So I felt like the angels just came down and surrounded us and said, okay, maybe this isn't even a time for grief. Maybe this is a time for excitement. This is we're here for you. We're protecting. We see the long game here. Y'all are good people. I'm just channeling the words of the angels. Y'all are good people. You smoke good weed, you look out for people, you're positive, you play music for people, you hold space. You help people trip, and we're going to help you. And I could see that happening. And I feel like the more we grieve this life, that, Sean and Cass in this apartment, Greenpoint, Sean and Cass, I feel like the more it just like it steals from the show that they're putting on for us right now, which is our life just playing out and fitting us fucking like a glove. And we know that. I think that's what we tapped into yesterday and are still tapped into. Because I feel like I want to and could lose my mind, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I want to go screaming, or I feel like I want to get mad at you about something, but there's nothing to work with there, you know?
Yeah, we
I'm
don't.
not throwing any grist in that mill.
I hope not.
And instead, I'm like, okay, let's just start fucking listening to the angels and channeling those motherfuckers and helping in collaboration with them, write the best future for ourselves, where we're surrounded by the dopest homies that need us and that we need them. Let's find those people. Let's make this chapter of our life like the most memorable, hands down.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to be like a financial burden on anyone, and I definitely want to support myself, and I've gotten a lot of self-worth and self-respect out of like my work and doing things well and making art, but I also, like Noah was even talking about like putting money in the right category, like is that it's not been something that I'm aspire to, like the accumulation of wealth. Like I aspire towards like trying to wake up and like understand
Yeah,
why I'm here and how to see someone else more clearly and like kind of remove the fog and have these like pure moments of presence.
mm,
And I'm just trying to trust that this like current predicament is also going to allow and support that awakening that I so prioritize.
absolutely. I think we're kind of just helping each other through it right now
Yeah.
as we speak. And what is the confusion fog made of? Like, what are those particles? It's like stress. It's just made of stress. It's stress about money. It's in uncertainty about things. It's like it's made of all those things, and that fucking those particles can really bunch up, and that confusion fog can start to feel really thick. You know that, you know, and it gets compounded, and then it gets dark on top of the fog being there. It's dark and like, so there's all this to contend with, but I think starting to realize that it's temporary and what it's made of helps to dissipate and help you see right through that a little bit, and knowing there's another side to it.
Totally. I think that's kind of like the gift of getting sick or being in a difficult situation, is because you realize, oh, exercising is actually really important. Like, I'm kind of one of those people who needs like a kick in the ass, that like when
You
I
love
got
saying it, but you don't do it, you know.
exercise.
Yeah.
I did some bouncing today.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. This to my point. You got on that little trampoline for like 2.5 minutes, to the point where I was like, "Get back on there! What are you crazy? You just got dressed up for this, and you went on there for 2 minutes."
I'll get back on there after this. Okay, so I'm talking out of my ass, but I will tell you that the sensation came of like what you're saying, like being your own healthcare system, like eating healthier, moving your body. For me, it's really about my mental health. Like realizing like, oh, I can't afford to like lose myself in the sauce right now. Like
No.
I need to like be online, and what do I need to do in order to do that? And trying to make sure that we look out for ourselves and each other, especially right now.
Yeah.
Because that way that's because these might be the lowest lows, but it's really about how you have control over how you navigate them. I believe.
Oh, absolutely. It feels kind of like this feels kind of like when we got trapped in the flood in Philly.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's just like one of those moments very unexpectedly out of nowhere. It's like, yo, all hands on deck. You know, I know I'm driving, but like fucking Jesus Christ, can someone else help me see? You know, and it's like us both doing this thing together. We're traversing this fog together. We're going straight into the storm, and it's hard to see. So we kind of both need both of us white knuckling it right up on the steering wheel, squinting, and just that focused thing, you know, where it's like, yo, no bullshit. We can't argue with each other or fight right now, or listen to music, or or laugh. Like, let's just fucking. We need to focus on getting through this
We can always
to
listen to music.
survive.
And how did we get through the flood? And we listened to music and laughed.
Yeah, we
So
did.
I
We
think
did.
you're forgetting some key components.
No, I'm saying here's the instinct is to get fucking very serious.
Oh, okay.
You know, and to get self-serious. And I know that the antidote is really kind of quite the opposite of that. But you see what the reaction does to you. You get caught in a flash flood, and it's just like nothing else fucking matters. This moment does. I'm trying to fucking figure out how to survive this moment. And you and I have been in other weather things like that. You know, on crazy ass snowy mountain roads going downhill, and like couldn't even, you tap the brake, you're going out of fucking control, like that kind of thing. So it feels like one of those moments. It's like, okay, we're in a fucking crazy snowstorm and we're on a 1-lane mountain road going downhill. Like, easy.
Easy, yeah.
Don't hit the brakes. Don't really hit the gas.
Yeah, because it
Just
feels like
guide it.
the consequences that could last a lot longer is if we get lazy and get angry and
Yeah.
get fearful, you know? That's like when you don't make decisions that are aligned with like your most loving, compassionate, highest version of yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that through it's even most important through your darker days that you try to remind yourself of the motherfucker who has that bird's eye perspective, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and those motherfuckers have been there for us so many times. Like, how many times since we've been in this apartment have we been like, oh shit, we're broke, we better go make some money? And we're able to do it so quickly. It's a little different now because the world, I barely know how to navigate quarantine America and what's allowed, and like, you know, is business happening? What the fuck's even going on? So, yeah, in the past, I feel like we've been able to turn it around very quick, and I think we could do it here. It's just, I don't think it's going to come from commercial work dropping out of the heavens. I think, like, we need to work on ourselves. We need to work on ourselves spiritually and artistically, and we need to focus, and we need the support of our community. You know, we really do. I don't know what people could do for us right now, but, like, we need support, and we've rarely ever needed that. You know, for context, you and I have never borrowed money from our parents in our life. My parents wouldn't even have money for us to borrow. Your parents barely do. You know, luckily we don't have student loan debts. We both had scholarships to go to school. So, like, I'm just giving some context of how we even ended up in this situation. I had some successes that put me in a good position. Like, I had some successes in films and commercials that like got us 50 grand or 60 grand or 100 grand, and we were able to like, okay, cool, we don't have to work right now, we can just focus on art. And like that's basically the trajectory we've been on. Like, you know, we go and we do a gig and we get like maybe between 50 and $200,000 for a gig, and then, you know, we go and we spend that money on art and living and being in New York City and traveling and getting inspired, and then we're broke again, and then something comes along, and just that ebb and flow has been interrupted a little bit, which to me begs us to kind of just reapproach and do things different. And we're broke again, and it's really scary to get kicked out of your apartment when you're broke, because it's not easy to just pop up into another place. You know?
Yeah, I feel like I have some tricks up my sleeve, and I think that's like
Yeah.
what we've devoted ourselves to is like, okay, let's have the idea that leads us to making money, and it might be more challenging right now, and everything might be wanting us to like work for a bigger company, but I think that there is a pathway forward to us, and I have faith in that pathway, and I feel that if I stay as calm, Kurt says, calm, cool, and collected,
Mm-hmm.
I can open up those doors for us. There is a pathway for us to do what we do, which is make, I think, beautiful
I feel
films.
you. I definitely feel you, to the point where you say, even just, I keep thinking that in my head too, that metaphor of just opening a door and it just being very easy. Just open that door and walk through that door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm. We have some plans. We have some ideas for this year. Like it's going to happen. It's like it's already like it's popping off. The celebration's already happening in my head. Like some of the stuff we want to do, and you know, I couldn't be more excited about the ideas we have. And like, I have the ultimate faith in us. I don't have faith in other companies. I don't want to rent my time out to them. I don't have faith in them. You know, I don't have faith in other filmmakers. I don't want to fucking, you know, make that my life. I want to fucking do it for ourselves. I have faith in us. I believe in us, you know. I'm speaking for the angels. We're good people.
We try.
We're good fucking people.
Oh man.
You know what the angels love?
Weed, yeah.
Let me hit
Or
one
at
for
least
them.
your angels love weed.
Let
That's
me
for
hit
sure.
one for them. They're like, hey, how come you haven't hit weed today?
Yeah.
You got that sour ass diesel just fucking sitting there, just ready to rip through your fucking bloodstream, swim around like dolphins.
Yeah. Well, I hope this hasn't been a downer for people to listen to. I hope that I think it's probably pretty relatable in different circumstances of just right now what's happening, and
It's not a downer. It's real.
yeah, it's real, and that's what we try to be, and that's the point of this podcast for us, is to have a platform where we just get to be real. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get to be real with whatever's going on.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm praying that other people in our position just unite and have solidarity with each other and just feel that compassion for each other, and not whether or not you got vaccinated. Or we did get vaccinated, by the way. You got triple fucking vaccinated. We still got this. I'm double vaccinated and I still got this, and Mare's recently vaccinated and still got this. Like,
I will say I fared a bit better than you, and that might have been because I got boosted a few weeks earlier. Just, you know, I
yeah.
don't think that's bad to say. I think
You also
that's
just don't get headaches, and that was like my
Thankfully.
only symptom. Like,
Yeah.
really, that fucking made ours different. But I'm hoping that other people in our position tend towards faith and tend towards compassion and don't get closed off. Like, it'd be really easy for us right now to get closed off and isolated, angry at the world, angry at the government, angry at our community for not being there for us, angry at everyone, angry at our landlord. Like, it'd be really easy for me to slip into that. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it. This is the situation. The situation's the boss. Let's deal with the situation.
Well, yeah, and I think like community comes in so many different ways, and that's where it's like it's not necessarily just financial support. It's like, yo, I see you. Like I'm
That's
cheering.
what I'm saying.
We're
yeah.
cheering each other on. Like I feel that you know, us co-imagining, like when people say things on the Discord of what they want or what they're going for, I start to see them doing that and feeling that, and I trust that when we say sometimes it's a little vulnerable to say what we want to do on here, but I think that like people got our back, and they're seeing us say have an update and be like, look, we like this is even a better situation. We were scared for a second, but we're now in a better situation. Like
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't I think it's not a bad thing to have the people in your life that care about you to help co-imagine a better future for you.
That's what I'm calling on everybody to do. You know, I kind of laid out a little wispy little blueprint of what it could be earlier in this, just saying like, hey, we're down to be an art mecca. You know, we're down to be gathering with people more often. We're down to be holding ceremony more often. We're calling in the space where we can do that and where we can be open to inviting people in. It's hard to invite people over here. Like, yeah, our friends that live in the city and can come and go, but like people staying with us, it's a fucking crazy thing for anyone to stay with us here. So I would just love to call in the space where we're on a beautiful piece of property and our friends are coming and going. We're starting and finishing projects. We're staying inspired. We're doing podcasts, permanent studio that we don't have to set up every time, those kind of things.
I love it.
Yeah, we're here for it. Do you want to keep talking?
Sure.
Cool. Let's hop over to the Patreon. Let's get on the page
Okay.
and do a little episode
All
for
right.
the Trustworthy Ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. If you wanna, there's like a whole bunch of bonus episodes. Some of my favorite episodes we've ever done, or have been just random bonus episodes we've thrown on the Patreon. So check those out. There is 129 episodes of Church of Chill. This is just fucking countless hours of music to trip to and just good vibes to swim around in.
Music to make art too.
Yeah, music to make art too.
And dance too.
And you
which
are
is
art.
Yeah.
You are the art. So there's music to make yourself to, and music to rediscover yourself to. And on top of all that, which this is worth it in itself, is the Discord community where everyone is chirping it up all the time about just the dopest shit you can imagine and the dopest shit you can't imagine.
For real.
That's where all the homies are. That's where all of our new friends are, and you know that's where we chop it up and exchange music and movie and book recommendations. You're doing a book club tonight.
Yeah.
You do an art club once a month.
Herman Hesse's Demian was the last book, and it was such a pleasure, and it just felt like so on point for this community and how we navigate the world, and just important. It's like this guy as he meets people along the his path that allow him to like a spiritual awakening. Super cool.
Our current predicament reminds me of the song Touch of Grey. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look up the words to that one.
I could.
Oh yeah, pull it out. Pull it out.
Or do you want to do that on the Patreon?
Yeah, cool. Meet us over on the Patreon. We love you, y'all. Peace, love, and magic.
Peace,
we'll
love,
see
and
we'll
magic.
see you on the Patreon. We'll be talking about Grateful Dead and a bunch of other weird shit.
Later.